here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K&B, you fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop my cherry.
Ooh. In brightest day and blackest night, why can't we get this shit right? What up, y'all? It's K&B, the sexy ninja. I know it's been a hot minute. Just been working out, life, and everything, and trying to plan a scheduled podcast. And I think we got one moving forward with lanterns. That's what we're talking about in this episode, the pilot episode for this show. I was looking forward to the show and not looking forward to the show, from the trailers to what the story is going to be, because at the bottom core of my superhero fandom, Green Lantern is and will always be the one I adore more than anything. I've worn my Green Lantern ring for a bazillion years. I'm in the lore just as bad as Star Wars. Like, it's Star Wars and Green Lantern. That's what we're doing here. I have so many Green Lantern action figures. Yeah, you're like, well, no, Green Lantern is the base of what K&B is, along with Star Wars and some other, and Batman, of course, and other things. But this is the base of my fandom. And we did a round one years back, with a movie with Ryan Reynolds. And I remember I was like, finally, my boy's getting a movie. Hal Jordan. Even though Kyle Rayner's my favorite Green Lantern, but Hal has a special place, along with John and Guy and everything like that, you know. Sebastian Boz, we also have, there's a lot there, in this world. And there's a lot more lanterns in the Earth sector 2184. So it's like there's so much source material. Why don't we do that? Why don't we use that source material? It's kind of like Justice League Origins. Justice League New 52, the first 6 issues by Jeff Johns and Jim Lee. You could easily adapt that into a movie. I've said that for years. Like, you could have taken this and made a Justice League movie. Right here, in these pages. But for some reason, they like to, especially with DC, they like to take it and be kind of edgy and different with it. Let's do something. Let's kind of like change the origin a little bit. Let's see what we can do here with this. And it's just like, okay, then the result is, here you go. Jason Momoa, Aquaman. What? Okay. He grows on you, though. I'm like, all right. But now he's Lobo. I feel like the James Gunn universe with Superman had a nice start. It started off strong. And this is his universe, the DCU. It's a universe where it's about gods and monsters. Superman kicked it off, and then we had Creature Commandos, which I think is amazing. We got Peacemaker involved in that. We got Man of Tomorrow coming up, Supergirl, which I do adore and love that movie. And Lanterns was one of those shows where I was like, okay, you're giving my boys another chance. The Green Lanterns. Let's do it. And they're like, yeah, Hal's old man Hal, and he's training John Stewart. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, I guess, And the way the trailers were, like, depicting it is like, it's like True Detectives, but with Green Lanterns, two cops. One is a rookie and one's, an old veteran. And let's see how the dynamic works. And let me tell you this right off the bat, before we go any further. The actors and the acting and the chemistry and the jokes, they all land. I'm more like annoyed with the story itself. I'm more annoyed with what they're doing with the characters themselves. Not the actors, not the acting, not, because the chemistry's great. Everybody's in their role and they're swinging for the fences and they're doing great. And I'm enjoying that. But this idea of John's dad being a psychopath, getting him ready to be a Green Lantern. And, when they threw that phrase out there, "Are you afraid?" I was like, oh my gosh, I hope that's not the premise here. And it is. Like, John's dad was so psychotic by shooting an apple off John's head to be like, "Oh, were you afraid? Were you afraid? Are you afraid?" It's just like, okay. And the amounts of fucks said in this show. It's cringe, man. It really is. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what Warner Brothers and DC, like, they've always had this problem with, like, oh, we're on this side, so fuck Marvel. We're going to cuss like sailors. And it's just like, well, I like cussing. I enjoy cussing. I do cuss a lot. But when it kind of feels like it's forced, no, it's like when Titans dropped. Remember when they had the DC Universe app and they were going to do their own shows and everything? And they had Robin show up, old Nightwing, Dick Grayson, whatever. Robin was it Robin? Yeah, he shows up and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Batman." And he's like, "Fuck Batman." And I was like, okay, man, calm down. Bring it back. Yeah, that was the one thing. And I'm not trying to be like, "Oh, cussing is so not for comic books." No, it's cussing is used when necessary. Think about this. It's like in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. When when she's trying to open the door and she's, Star-Lord's like, "Open the door. Just use the thing. Open the fucking door," That's a moment. When cursing is needed with him and Nebula, like that moment right there is how you use cursing in a show or a movie. It's like you drop that one F-bomb, it's gonna count. This one was just like, we're just gonna keep dropping F-bombs, and and they tweak some things with like Hal's origin. He's like, "Yeah, found this ring in Nebraska from Abensure." Abensure's right. I was like, wait, whoa, Nebraska? You got your ring in the Cali Desert, Coast City. What? Like, and they start the show where he has his mask off and he tells the world, "Yeah, my name's Hal Jordan." And the time jumping is like 2096, 2016, and 2026. And when we get to Hal in 2016, he is reckless. He's kind of training John Stewart. This isn't the Hal we know. And him just giving his ring to John is what was confusing me, because I was like, no, that's not how the ring works. The ring chooses you. And I went through my books to how John was picked. So Hal was grooming Guy to be another Green Lantern for Earth. But Guy got hurt. The Guardians come down and tell him, like, "Hey, since Guy's hurt, we got to pick somebody else." So they go and pick John. And Hal's really not for it. He's like, this guy seems reckless. He's too cocky and whatnot. He's like, "No, just do it." And then they give... Hal goes, talks to John in a little cafe, and then bada bing, bada boom, he has him say the oath, and John's a Green Lantern. He even makes a joke. He's like, "Now I'm Black Lantern." They and like they really go into the stereotype in that book by Adams and O'Neill. But that was the hard road travel story with Green Arrow and Green Lantern, or we'll flip those names. And that story itself was Green Arrow and Hal traveling the road Ganthet, if I remember, one of the Guardians who, they go on a road trip and they see the worst parts of America, the KKK and all that, like racism, and they deal with this. They're on this hard road of travel because they're seeing America and seeing the dark side of it and dealing with all this craziness. So when this show was, when I first saw the trailer for the show, I was like, oh, so we're kind of doing that because of the Yellowstone background, here in Nebraska. And I don't know. I'm vibing with the characters. John fucks a grandma, I guess. So, and what's funny is, like, I feel like this is small potatoes, Let's go to Ilana's theory. It's small potatoes. Not big potatoes, but small potatoes. If you get the reference, you get the reference. For Hal, so the show starts off with, we show John as a kid, and he's watching Hal on TV talk, and him, like being like, here, I'm Green Lantern. I'm just a normal guy like you, but I have no fear. Fine, that's cool. Dad comes in. Dad shoots Apple off his head. You afraid? No, Dad. And we cut to John in 2016, and he's like, oh crap, and he goes outside, and Hal's like, hey, I'm late. Sorry. And as they're driving, he's like, you're not pissed off at me? He goes, no, sir. No, sir. And he goes, okay, well, down the road's a taco stand. I'll meet you there. So let's see what you can do, Junior. Jumps out of the car. Leaves his ring there for John. And John goes, woo, down the hill. John grabs the ring, makes a construct to save himself. Finds Hal. Well, as he's going to Hal, his dad calls, and he's like, he drove me off a cliff, Dad, blah, blah. And he's like, he's testing you, son, and blah, blah. I'm like, what is this? What is this with John's dad? I feel like John's going to be like a double agent. Like the government's in on this so they can infiltrate the Green Lantern Corps. And no one says Green Lantern Corps in the show. They just say Green Lantern. It's just little things like that. It's just got me going like, okay, that's, I guess, And Hal's consciousness, yeah, you know what I mean? It, like, the ring, like, is basic. The ring is Hal Jordan. Like, takes everything about Hal Jordan and it stays inside the ring. There was a moment where in a Grant Morrison comic book where Hal went inside the ring to see the insanity of what the ring was holding, memories and this and that. So his consciousness it's there, and it logged itself from 10 years ago. So as John's walking to go meet up with today's Hal, he meets the other Hal that was in the ring and says like, hey, and he goes, you're a lot nicer than that, Hal Jordan. And he's like, well, say this phrase to him and he'll get it. And once John gets to Hal, he's like, hey, man, like, what the fuck? And Hal's first thing's like, what did you make? He goes, bubble wrap. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And so John says the phrase to him, and Hal's like, oh, okay. Then it's like, oh, okay, where are we going? Nebraska. So once John gets to Hal, he's like, you just left. And he's like, yeah, well, I wanted to see if you can just make it here by yourself. And there's a murder. And Hal is like, this is alien related, so it's part of his jurisdiction. And yeah, he describes our sector as we're like the back end. The Guardians don't care about Earth. But, that's really not the case either. But okay, sure, okay. And they get this guy. Then we cut to a scene where they're in a bar because the cop that's in charge of this told them to back off. But of course, Hal's not going to. And they catch the guy. John catches the guy. And Hal has this idea because he wants to talk to the prisoner. And bada bing, bada boom, there's government corruption in this little town. So Hal goes and gets beat up and he gets taken to jail. That, like, his plan was to talk to the prisoner. But he gets bailed out, and it's by some dude, like this lawyer guy, and his dad is like the end-all be-all godfather of this town. And it's funny is like the lawyer is married to the cop, the one that told him to back off, and she tells Hal, like, you don't want to be in his pockets. You better get out of here. Just fly away with your ring. I'm like, what the Why? Why are we dealing with this? This is such small potatoes. Small potatoes for Hal Jordan. You know? And I don't know, dude. Like, and then we get to the point where at that bar, after Hal gets arrested, John fucks this lady. And then fast forward, I guess it's the main villain's wife. And the main villain knows that John did. And that was kind of funny because he's like, whoa, what did that mean? He goes, well, I kind of, his wife. And he's like, what? And he already knows, you know. And that's the thing is there's charm to the characters. Especially charm to the actors. And the jokes are landing and everything. Like, oh, okay. You know, but it's like the premise of the story is kind of like, okay. And then we jump to 2026 and John shows up, you know, to that football arena, and there's the cop again. It's like, good seeing you. It's been a while, blah, blah, blah. And he has the full goatee on, and I'm like, wow, he is Jon Stewart. Like, that's why I was like, this guy's Jon Stewart. And it's a frozen wasteland, and as he goes to the thing, there's Hal in the stands, frozen, dead, I'm guessing. The ring's not on him. So, where's the ring? And until next week, folks. So, I'm going to watch this show. And afterwards, my wife looked at me. She's like, this is... Because she didn't like the It movies, part 1, part 2. Because she's a huge Stephen King person. She loves Stephen King. And she feels like no one can get that adaptation right. Even the TV movie from back in the day. Which I thought they did. But that's fine. I don't know. I'm interested to see where this goes, you know, especially with old man Hal here. And I'm just like, well, this is cool, I guess. You know, it didn't leave me like, oh my God, yes, and Brightest day and Blackest night, you know, let's go. No, I'm just like, all right. And the usage of the ring is minimal. You know, he makes a counterfeit 20 to play music on loop. He makes a bottle opener. Apparently, John made bubble wrap, you know. But I think as the show goes, we'll see more of that. I'd like to see more constructs, you know. But I'm trying to figure out the timeline itself, because it's like 96, 2016, 2026. So there's that 10 years right there. And in order of the Green Lanterns itself, for the main 4 Earth Green Lanterns, you know, not counting Jessica Cruz, not counting Simon Boz, the main 4, Hal. No, I take that back. The original Green Lantern is Alan Scott. Nothing to do with the Green Lantern Corps. So put that out there, right there. But Alan Scott is the original Green Lantern of DC. Well, like American Comics or something like that. But he's the first Green Lantern. Fast forward is Hal, John, then Guy, and Kyle Rayner once Hal loses his freaking mind and kills the Green Lantern Corps and takes all the rings and, you know, becomes Parallax and this and that. Like, I would love to see that at some point. But that's the order of those, the main 4 in Sector 2184. You know, that's the main thing right there. I don't know where they're going with this. At some point, we're going to get Guy Gardner showing up, which I'm excited about because it's Nathan Fillion. And what's funny is, like, Nathan Fillion was the person I wanted for Hal Jordan. And the thing that pisses me off now, there's like, oh, he's too old. He's too old now. I'm like, now looking at the premise of this show, I'm like, no, he would have fit in perfectly like a glove. If you were going to go this old man Hal route, you could have put Nathan Fillion because he did the fucking voice for him. And, oh, God damn it. And I think the only adaptation of anything that Scott and Green Lantern write is, of course, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Well, to a point. But the Green Lantern animated show, the CG one, that ran for, like, I think 2 seasons. But, man, it was good. Oh, it was good, man. You got to watch that if you can find it. Like, it's such a good series. It was on Cartoon Network. And, man, I was there every week glued to my TV. That was some good Green Lantern right there. And it just makes me think, like, wow, Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern was more true to the source material than this show. You know? So, I think as a hardcore Green Lantern guy, I'm, like, on the fence of, like, I don't know if I want to like this or not. But I'm going to keep watching it, and I'll report to y'all my feelings. And for this episode, and I don't know how the hell it got a 90-some-odd% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, who the fuck is watching this? You know? And being like, oh my God, that was everything, you know? And so it's just funny to me. And I'm going to see all these, like, Green Lantern fans coming out and be like, oh no, this is what it is. I'm like, no, it's not. No. God. Like, I'm always willing to share, you know, because when I grew up, it wasn't cool being a comic books nerd. Now it is, which is awesome. But the problem with that is now everyone thinks they're an expert because they got the internet and this and that. Mine's all, yes, I got the internet, but mine's all based on actual reading of these books as they were coming out and knowing that history. And Green Lantern, I will say, is like the pinnacle of everything I've read as I was growing up. And that's why, like, in my darkest times and when in moments I'm being challenged, I'm like, in Brightest Day and Blackest Night, you know, I say the oath to myself to kind of calm myself. And I found another person, another character that I've connected very, 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 very well with. And that's Carl from the Dungeon Crawler Carl books, You Will Not Break Me. So it's that source material that's just bugging the shit out of me with this show. I'm like, I don't understand why we're here with this background in Nebraska. We'll see. And that was another thing is, so in the trailer, they mentioned manhunters, which I was like, oh, okay. And then they showed aliens, you know, being anybody and everybody and morphing and whatnot, you know, and transforming into other people and whatnot. You know, they can be anybody and everybody. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And I was like, well, Martian Manhunter has that ability. His people are not called Manhunters, though. Manhunters, push it aside, are robots, androids, whatever you want to call them, created by the Guardians that help them with, you know, because with the Green Lantern Corps, but then the Manhunters turn on them, and it's a big war they have with the Green Lantern Corps and the Guardians and everything like that. So that's where I kind of got confused, and I'm like, are you really going to take Martian Manhunter's character and make it a race called the Manhunters when that's not... See, it's like, why? It's like, why? You know, who the fuck are these writers? It's like, why are you just putting stuff together? And it's like, I have the same thing about James Gunn. He took Ultraman and he took Bizarro and he put them together. And it's like, why? Why even call him Ultraman? Like, Ultraman's from Earth 2 and he's basically Homelander. You know, like, why are you taking these two characters to make the narrative be like, no, it's Bizarro? And it's like, why? You know, and I remember being confused, being like, oh, Ultraman? Like, so they already got to Earth 2? Then we got the reveal at the end. I'm like, oh, what? Okay, sure. So I'm guessing this is what they're doing here. I love James Gunn. I think his Guardian movies are perfection beyond perfection. I love Superman. I'm not like I love Superman. I love the Creature Commandos. But then what's funny is like there's slate of this Gods and Monsters universe. Like, and next we're gonna give you a Jimmy Olsen show with Gorilla Grodd. I'm like, can I get that Batman movie yet? Okay. That's the other thing with the DC going on. It's like it's like just bring Robert Pattinson in as Batman. God, you take forever. And they announced they're going to do The Batman 3, Matt Reeves' Batman 3 for his trilogy. And I'm like, you took too long with 2. Like, it's just so much going on. And then you look over at Marvel and you're just like, it's like, someone come on now, and let me take you there. I'm like, oh God, Doomsday. And you got that Spider-Man Brand New Day that was really good. And then you got, all this goodness, Secret Wars, and you got the X-Men and this and that. I'm looking over there, like, out my window, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go over there. I'm going over there. I'm sorry, DC. Even though, like, DC is where it's at for me in comic books, like, Marvel right now in the cinematic universe is killing it again. Even though they had a few years where they weren't. Now they're like, we're back on track. Let's go. Spidey made $2 billion. And Supergirl flopped. And that's mainly because people wanted that movie to fail, and I don't know why. I did enjoy Supergirl. Was there problems in that movie? Yes. So now here we are with Lanterns. Weekly show every Sunday. This is the pilot episode, and I give it a solid 5 out of 10. It has my interest enough. And I know there's going to be like a t-shirt out there like Jon Stewart fucks grandmas or something like that. So yeah, we shall see. And the wife kind of got worried because I was going off about things. I was like, wait, this and that and this. She goes, oh no, this is Last Jedi all over again. I'm like, no, I will not let it get there. No. So, but that's it, man. 5 out of 10 for the pilot episode. It's only like an hour. I'm going to watch it again, see if I can pick up some Easter eggs or anything like that. But yeah, I'm just like, why can't we get Lanterns right? I would have wrote this story to be more in space. Let's get more intergalactic with it. Let's get into space. We don't need to be on Earth. Train him throughout the entire sector, not in Nebraska. Yeah, so we shall see though. I'm giving it a chance. I'm giving it a chance. So the actors, everybody's great on that aspect, but story-wise, I don't know. All right, y'all. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. All right? And share it with your grandma, share it with the bum down at Walmart. I haven't said that in forever. Yeah. That just came out of me. But in Brightest day and in Blackest night, and remember to stay sexy, ninjas. Whoop, whoop.
I might have slept with his wife.
Might have.
I definitely slept with his wife.
And he knows?
Apparently.